Welcome to the Wake.Show. As everybody knows, a show needs an intro. This is that intro. I am Fisher, your host. I still can't sing. Chris McCarty pounding on his guitar, and we got a really cool guest today.
Guest star.
All right, welcome to the Wake.Show, everybody. I am Chris Fisher, your host, along with Chris McCarty, featuring Chris McCarty. How are you doing today, sir?
Well, how are you doing today, sir?
Well, I had a thought, and I meant to not spring this on you, but I was thinking maybe today we could start off with a song.
I think that's a great idea.
What are your thoughts? And I don't want to put, what are your thoughts on Three Little Birds?
Oh, that's a great idea.
All right.
Great idea, son.
Because we're getting ready to launch. Well, first of all, thank you so much to Single Source. Good morning. And thank you so much for sponsoring the first 15 minutes of the Wake.Show. Single Source Insurance. They'll take care of you. Comparable rates. But most importantly, when you need them, they will be there for you. So for anybody that has dealt with any of the bigger ones that you see on TV all the time, in the last few years, it can be very frustrating. So give Single Source Insurance a shot today and see what they can do for you. All right, so Chris, I was thinking, because we got a guest coming in, we're going to get a little heavy because she, at any moment, could be losing, I don't say everything, but...
everything.
But yeah, so our guest today is Amber Ray Light, and all the way from Hawaii. She is an evacuee escaping Kilauea. And what is the area itself called?
Puna.
Puna is the area where she's at. And first of all, because we're going to have fun today. You know, we're going to have fun. We're
going to bring her up, man.
But I also know it's got to be weighing on you that right now, at any moment, you could get off the show. We could get done in an hour. You check, and your life be changed forever. So.
I mean, I think my life was already changed forever, honestly.
Right. She's hanging out here, man. She's not in Hawaii anymore, man. Yeah, it's changed.
So I'm thinking, Chris, before we get into that, and we got some lighter stuff to talk about today. Snoop Dogg has set a world record. Very excited about that. Chris doesn't know yet, so I'm going to have him guess coming up a little bit later in the show. But all right, so let's start things off on a little bit more of a light note, an upbeat note. Mr. McCarty.
Don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing is gonna be alright. Singing, don't worry about a thing. Every little thing is gonna be alright. I rise up this morning, smile with the rising sun. Three little birds is in my mind or still singing sweet songs. The melody's pouring true, saying, this is my message to you. Singing, don't worry about a thing. Sing with me, y'all. 'Cause every little thing it's gonna be alright. People at home.
Oh, so, okay, good.
And don't worry about a thing. Every little thing it's gonna be alright.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, now there we go.
Always right on point, man. Anytime you need him.
Yeah, that's the way to start a show. Before we do bring in our guest, I do want our hearts, our prayers go out this morning to a St. Pete High graduate who died. There's a couple things we're getting away on the beginning. It's not a downer show, right. But I think it's to pay respect.
Yes, it's always good.
St. Pete High graduate dies while reporting on flooding in North Carolina.
Oh.
And a television news reporter from St. Petersburg and a photographer were killed in North Carolina on Monday, wherein a tree fell on their vehicle, according to an NBC affiliate there. The station WYFF in Greensville, South Carolina, said reporter Mike McCormick and photojournalist Aaron Smeltzer were covering the effects of heavy rain in the area when a tree fell on their sports utility vehicle in North Carolina. So our hearts and thoughts go out to them as well as we welcome in our guest who's living a nightmare and halfway around the world, Kilauea evacuee Amber Ray Light. How are you doing? Welcome in.
Thanks for having me.
You know, we have a nice upbeat, song, and then immediately bring it right back down.
But that's life. It's ebb and flow. It goes like that. You know, let's be honest. That's why people like the show. That's why we do it, because it's something real.
Also on the show today is some of the things that we'll be talking about. Sunset Music Festival cancellation. We're just, because I know that you've been a part of enough concerts, I would imagine, that you've been at those shows where you thought you were going to go on, it gets canceled at the last second, or you're up on stage having to tell people, oh, sorry, we have to cancel the show.
Yeah, you mean like the lightning, the thing that happened? Perfect example. Yeah, it happens, man. It just, but you got to go with the flow.
I had a shoe thrown at me once.
Did you really? Yeah. What are you, George W? People throwing shoes.
Actually, I had more than one thing thrown at me. One shoe hit me.
Whoa! What were you doing?
This was one of the 97X shows that was out at Coachman Park, and it was a downpour. I'm trying to remember who was out there. If it was Angels and Airwaves, I believe, which was Tom DeLonge from Blink and his band. There was a couple of bands out. Anyway, the show goes on, rain or shine,
right?
Because it's Florida, and unless it's lightning, and unless there's something horrible that you can't, nothing you can do, it's going on, right? Well, there was a lot of rain, and one of the sides of the stage started to collapse. Was collapsing. The ground couldn't hold it, so there was nothing you could do, right? And they send me out there.
Don't kill the messenger, and that's what they do, man. Yeah, but they got mad at you.
They'd been standing in the pouring rain, and it says rain or shine on the ticket.
Ooh.
But it's not the rain that shut it down. It was safety.
The caving of the right.
So I go up on stage, ladies and gentlemen, blah de blah, and the boos start coming and things start flying, and I got hit by a shoe.
Man, that's rough.
But anyway, yeah. So what they did here in the story, Chris, is they closed down, I think, day 2 and day 3 of the Sunset Music Festival over the weekend. But this was a story about inside DJ duo Bonnie X Clyde's insane party. They figured out a way to party. They figured out a way to get inside and get the party to continue.
Cool.
All right, Starbucks is starting their diversity day, or their diversity thing today. Which, damn it, I meant to ask Cords when he was in here, because he had a Starbucks, and I thought Starbucks was closed today.
Oh.
Did anybody stop by Starbucks? And are they all open? It says Starbucks to close over 8,000 stores today for an employee diversity training. But Cords this morning had a Starbucks, so
all but ours. The diversity, man.
The one in South Tampa's like, we don't need any diversity training. We're good. We're solid.
That's well, right. Well, that's cool that they're trying to do that. I mean, I like it. It's something positive. I mean, that's the thing. When we find some kind of tragedy, I believe that everything's good, right? So in the midst of tragedy, there's some good that can come from it. I mean, let's think about 9/11. Horrible. But what did we see? We saw everyone with flags everywhere. I mean, there was a unification at that moment. So I think the same situation here. These black guys get arrested. They were cool. They were apparently, watched the video, and they were respectful. They didn't freak out, and people were recording, and it's just like, and now you see the outpour of people like, listen, man, we got to stop this. So now here they are trying to do their part, and I think that's great.
And according to Brett, too, they're closing this afternoon. They weren't going to give up all that money in the morning coffee rush. Wait till the afternoon for the.
Can you imagine how people would be off if they didn't get their coffee? I know people who they can't. Hey, listen, don't talk to me until I get my coffee. So.
Oh yeah. Oh, I know. I'm much better to deal with a cup of coffee in the morning. It's be funny is the irony as they go to close some of these doors this afternoon, and some people don't realize it, and they're going to be walking up as they're closing doors. There's going to be some black people that are walking up to a Starbucks later this afternoon as they close and lock the door on them at 1 o'clock.
Be like, what? You arrest us? Hey. Now we can't get coffee? Where's Al Sharpton? We're good. It's the coalition against coffee. The coffee coalition.
Also on the show today, a real life Superman. I don't know if you guys saw this morning. A great story about I believe this guy's
Spider-Man.
Yeah, we'll come back to it. I believe an immigrant in France, or a migrant there in France, and climbs 4 stories, I believe it is, saves this baby that was dangling, and gets French citizenship in the process. How cool is that? Snoop Dogg. All right, wait, hold on. Damn it.
I'm not looking. I want to know. I don't want to know.
I'll ask the question right now.
All right.
What did Snoop Dogg set an official Guinness Book of World Records? In what category? For what?
I mean, it's probably smoking blunts.
All right. It's not smoking blunts. So don't think anything illegal.
Okay.
But still very much associated with him. Maybe even go back to the, early days of...
Okay.
Whoops.
I would say that maybe that they sell selling something. Is that right? Selling something.
He was on stage and he brought out the world's largest glass of gin and juice.
No.
Look behind you now.
Look at that. Oh my gosh. That really is. That damn Snoop. I like Snoop, man. I really do. Did you ever watch the show? He had a show with him and his son, and was trying to get his son and I just like Snoop.
I know what you mean. I know what you mean.
You know?
All right, so those are some of the things we're going to hit on. Afro Man is also in the news. He has to pay $65,000. You don't know if you're an Afro Man fan or not.
Dude, let me tell you about me and Afro Man. So it's this funny thing about being on tour, right? You always, we're always playing. Everyone's playing, so you don't get a chance to see a band you like because you're playing. Afro Man and I kept running into each other. We ran into each other in North Carolina and Alabama 3 different times. I mean, it was to the point where you're like, Chris, Afro Man, right? So no, I do like it, but it was just it's what's the 65,000 for? Don't say taxes.
No,
okay.
No,
I was because I got. What do you do?
He knocked the shit out of some woman on stage.
That's not even cool, bro.
Yeah, so
65. Yo,
yeah.
Man.
You want to know the details now?
Listen, man. I'm gonna tell you something right now.
We can go back.
If I ever see him again, which I will probably see him again, I'm gonna say you lost all respect for me, kid.
All right, we'll go ahead and get it because I don't want you. I want to give you the details first, and let's see here,
bro.
Musician and rapper Afro Man. There's Afro Man there. Has agreed to pay $65,000 to settle a lawsuit filed by a woman he punched during a 2015 Mississippi performance. A judgment filed Thursday. Monthly installments. By the way, she was a Florida resident, of course. Bird's attorney Tim Holloman says the Florida resident was 21 when Joseph. By the way, don't call him Afro Man. Next time you go, Joseph. Joseph Edgar Foreman. Joseph. Whose stage name is Afro Man, punched her while she danced after getting on stage during the Mardi Gras concert in Biloxi. Afro Man had pleaded guilty to an assault charge. He also agreed he will not disparage, slander, or libel her. She claimed he defamed her by writing a song about the assault called "Stay Off the Stage."
Now, I have to, if he's been, then I've assaulted people then, because I definitely am like, get you off the stage. I mean,
so I know that you can feel that. I know that you've been there, and that drunk, she's made it, the night's all about her. She's falling into your equipment.
Man, this last week I was in Gainesville. And it's going well, and everyone's being respectful. There's a lot of people there, and this dude shows up. Some dude I kind of knew maybe back in the high school days, whatever. So when you could tell he's like a little, drunk, and he comes right to the front, and he's just staring at me like, and I'm like, I can't do that.
Oh, I see. He's more than drunk.
I see you. And
those were drunk guys you just portrayed.
And then he's gone. Next thing you know, I feel this energy right next to me on the stage. The dude's on the stage like pouring me a water, and it's just kind of like, dude, like, like, look at me. And it's, I get, we all have that look at me thing from a young age.
I see.
But it disrupts the flow. There's a flow, man, and it's like everyone is here to enjoy, and it just throws me off because I don't know.
But you've never punched a woman on stage.
No, dude, okay. I've never punched a woman. I've never shaken, touched any. No, you don't do that.
So Afro Man, I can understand. I've been there, buddy. One day, I think I just told the story recently about how I was DJing in Tallahassee as a young man, and one of the the girls were up on stage there. One of the Golden Girls from Florida State. They were all up there doing their thing, hammered, and fell into my equipment. As she fell, I grabbed her like this and I thought I just kind of did this, but I bounced that girl off the wall. One of those where you felt bad as you did. You're like, oh damn! But you had to keep that hard face like this on, or else you knew somebody else was going to come over the top of you. Yeah. So we've all been there, all right? But my buddy Napoleon, Nate Farmer. He used to have this line when he was doing stand-up, something about you never hit a woman. You can flinch and make them jump, but you can never follow through, I think was the line.
I mean, look, it's such a fine line.
Sorry for laughing at domestic abuse. It's not funny.
It's not funny, of course, but there's just something where his ego got in the way, and I'm a person who could speak of it. I understand. I get it. I'm a performer. I've been on stage. You're in this moment, and it's like there's a level of respect that you're just kind of like, dude, I'm trying to work. I know you don't see it as work,
right?
But you're coming up here and you are disrupting because you think you're cuter than you are, or people say, well, whatever, you want attention, you're the baby. And I've seen it. I see it a lot. Like alcohol and the baby of the family doesn't really mix sometimes. So I think at the end of the day, I mean, obviously, there's better ways of handling it. He knows that. He was just feeling himself. I'd like to think, because I was feeling myself. I had the same situation happen in Atlanta one time, and I'm not proud of it. I've never,
Well, the cool thing, the one thing you can say about this is they didn't F around. He pled guilty to the charges. He didn't try to fight him.
Well, he's probably had on tape. Like we got on tape, dude. You got to plead guilty.
But who, you could always, stave that stuff off and claim this and claim that. But anyway. And then at the same time, too, agreed to pay the money. He's like, all right, I messed up. Here you go. Here's your money. And we'll put this thing behind us, hopefully.
Yeah, but you can't, dude. It's wild because I have a daughter. Someone would not be living if they did that to my kid. That's just the truth.
Right.
I say this to ladies. Ladies, please understand what I'm saying when I say this. Men have testosterone. And
most men
have testosterone. And just remember, a man is physically, they're big. They can do a lot.
Here's my testosterone. See, here's the thing. And
stop getting in a dude's face. Just stop. Don't do it, man.
So what you're warning them that what's in this file? Hey, honey, if you're still watching, Lauren. Hey, I will have testosterone one day too.
You're right. Hey, you see this? This could be you, girl. I'm trying to warn you. No. But, it's just, again,
All right. Brett says, as a musician, it interrupts the flow. It's hard to rebuild the momentum.
Yes.
But those people that we're talking about, the person he was just describing, and like at comedy shows, too, I see it way too often where there's that person that makes themselves the center of attention.
Yes.
It's few and far between. It's not at every show. But when they are at that show, man, they can really
mess it up, dude.
They make themselves the center of attention.
Absolutely. I remember that story I told you about those 4 girls from Iowa or whatever that were like super, super, super duper intoxicated, and they're just coming at me. And I have all this. Listen, man, my equipment is not cheap, and you're in this fine line of like, hey, I'm trying to keep it cool because I don't want to kill the mood because, I'm on the microphone. But there's also that line of like, dude, you need to chill. And I remember the girl was like, will you play country? Okay, I'll play it in a second. It's probably not even real country. Like, yo, what? And so now I got to address that because that's not cool, So I don't know, man. You're right. It's Brett. You feel it.
All right, I want to also say good morning to Kurt Schreiner. He says, liar, Chris, you're a Diet Coke fiend. I don't know what you're referencing. You're right, I am a Diet Coke fiend, but I don't remember what I said at the beginning of the show to lead anybody to believe anything other than that.
I was wondering that too.
I was a little upset because there was not a Diet Coke. It doesn't matter. I just need my Diet Coke. Nikki Cooper, did I see, was it you, Nikki, that lost Mr. Winter yesterday or the day before? If that's so, you're a cat. I think it was you. If so, our condolences.
Wait, you lost it like she ran away?
No, like I believe they had to, at 16 years old or something. I think that was Nikki.
Whoa.
I think that was Nikki.
Nikki, I will say this to you, if it's you or whoever's listening, I had to put my cat of 16 years down. I ran into them fighting a raccoon. And it was very, very, very traumatic for me. I'm screaming at this raccoon, I'll kill you, MF. People called the police. They didn't know what was going on. And then I had to put him down, and I held him for 45 minutes just sitting there rocking from 20 years old to 36. Like, knew every girlfriend, every band. It was just my guy. I'd come home and he would be there. I'd make my eggs. I'd sit on the couch. He'd sit on my lap for 16 years. So please understand. And to this day, February 25th is that I put him down. I still wear his collar every February 25th. Like, you don't understand. I was very close to this spirit more than any other spirit walking. So, Nikki, my condolences, and I empathize. And I'm sorry that you've dealt that.
Yeah.
Have you had to do anything like that, Amber? I feel like we're just...
I'm looking at her page, and that's her cat's at the top of the page, so I think it was Nikki. Nikki, our condolences. I know that sucks.
Do you have any pets, Amber?
I don't.
No.
Right now. No.
It was really hot, by the way.
Sorry. Yeah. What about our pets?
You're no there.
I'm going to ask you a bunch of questions based solely in ignorance, okay? As Well, Hawaii. So all these are based in ignorance. So Hawaii is a very small island. So what is the kind of the pet culture out there? You know, like here in St. Petersburg, there's pets everywhere, cats and dogs everywhere. Are pets very common and popular in Hawaii as well?
Yeah, that's actually been a major...
Are they parrots? Are they all parrots?
That's been a...
Parrots.
Exotic birds?
You were talking about parrots.
Yeah,
You said
definitely.
parrots.
There's exotic birds, there's macaws. But that's actually been a big thing with all this evacuation efforts. There's been a lot of animals that have gotten lost. There's actually a whole story of a cat that finally got rescued out of Leilani neighborhood. There's been, horses that had to be, so many animals. It's a lot of people have farms. So, there probably were some animals that weren't saved, but there have been major efforts to save people's pets and animals and stuff.
All right, so our guest today is Amber Ray Light. She is from Hawaii and is an evacuee. You had to escape the island and come to to the mainland, or how did that play out for you?
Well, I live in Leilani Estates. So Leilani Estates was the first place that the lava originally started coming out of. The first fissures broke May 3rd. So I did have to be evacuated out of my neighborhood Thursday, May 3rd. And then I was staying in Hilo. And then it just kept getting more and more intense. There are still people there. I could have stayed on the island, but there's ash. There's ash falling, there's sulfur dioxide levels, even sometimes hydrogen sulfide levels that have spiked at different times. There's just a lot of dangers. There's cracks opening up in the roads.
So what pictures do I have showing now? Do you recognize this area here?
Yeah, that's showing... Yeah, that's basically showing the flow going down through Puna, because it started flowing in Leilani, and I don't know exactly if that's showing. Oh yeah, so that would that's Pohiki Road. So that was
how far away is your family's estate or land from this?
Okay, so right now the lava is probably 2,000 feet from our property.
Jeez. Whoa! So less than a half mile.
It's right there.
Okay.
And so see that why we live. Okay, so take your finger up a little higher. That's our property right there.
So right here.
So right now, this is because the lava is almost going to cut off that road. Because once that road was cut off, my dad could be trapped in our property because he didn't evacuate till yesterday. My brother has been trying to get him to evacuate, but wanted to stay with our lands.
Yeah, okay. That's what my next question was going to be, because here in the state of Florida, every time we have a hurricane, people, you see the hurricanes covered the state, right? You can't even see the state, and yet there's news coverage of people staying behind, and they're in their homes, and the people from somewhere else are going, what's wrong with you people? But there's just something about it. Now I'm staying with my land. I was born here, raised here, that kind of stuff.
House, I'm going down
there's
with
people who are downwind of this that are getting terrible air quality along the coast. They're wearing respirators regularly. Jeez. It's absolutely insane that they haven't evacuated, honestly. And the dangerous part at this point is there's only one road to get out of this whole big area. There's only one road left. Jeez. And there's already cracks in that road. They've already put metal plates over the cracks. Those metal plates are heating up. Ooh. There could be lava. There could be lava opening up higher up from the mountain and cover that road at any moment. So at any moment there could be, we don't even know, 1,000, a couple thousand. We don't even know how many people are still in the area that could be completely trapped and have to be air vac.
So I got a question for you. So if
look at that one.
Walk us through. So in the very beginning when it happened, what did you feel? Was it like? Did you get a phone call first? What did you feel? Was it an earthquake? So what was that?
Yeah. So initially, we started kind of hearing a little bit of some activity, but whatever. There's always activity on the volcano.
Right.
But we definitely were like, oh wow, another earthquake. Another earthquake. Wow, another. It was kind of like that, where we were kind of laughing almost because it started to feel normal, where it's just like, oh, no big deal, another earthquake, and then it just kept. The frequency of the earthquakes just kept increasing to the point that, I live in Leilani. We were having an earthquake almost every minute, Whoa. And in May 1st, I went up to Volcano National Park and saw the lava lake, Halimau, before it dropped. And just all this lava, fire coming. It was just wild. Wow. And then the lava started dropping and disappearing. So we're like, well, where did it go? Where is it going to come out? We don't know. So suddenly, we don't know where the lava's at. Pu'o'o was the other vent that's been flowing for like, I can't remember, but something crazy. Like since the 80s, this vent's been flowing. That vent collapsed. So that meant it had, so this vent, these fissures that are coming out my neighborhood might be the new vent. I mean, this vent could flow for 30 years. I mean, we don't know.
Wow.
And so it was really the earthquake. So the same night that I was up on the mountain seeing the lava lake, that night I'm trying to sleep, and I'm not kidding, it was one continuous tremor all night. I mean, it was just, it was like I was on a boat, or like one of those vibrating beds or something, it was just like really crazy. Like it was insane. And by the next day, I have a really highly intuitive friend, and she was getting intuitively that the lava was coming to Leilani. And granted, she doesn't know the names of the neighborhoods even, like she doesn't know anything about doesn't know that much about the volcano. And she was like, it's coming to Leilani. And you need to start thinking about packing up. And so I evacuated Thursday. Actually, the first was my last night. That was my last night to sleep in my house. Because even that next night, I was like, you know what? I'm getting an Airbnb. I don't know. I'm nervous. This is too much.
Right. You felt it.
Well, you said you're hearing, for how long were you hearing what would be considered, I guess, a constant tremor? And you said it's a lava flowing under you. How many nights or hours or did that last?
Yeah. So I think it was about 3 days, but it was the one. But
how do you sit in one spot for 3 days when you're feeling the earth under you?
I mean, yeah, when it wasn't constant for 3 days. I mean, it was definitely like the third day was because that was the last night I slept there. I mean, it was probably like that the next night, but I was already sleeping somewhere else because, and then we also had a big one. We had the 6.9, and I was
6.9 on the Richter scale.
And I mean, there's people who saw the waves of land. I mean, the wave of land moving, and like a seismic wave just going. I mean, they saw it and felt it under. I mean, there was rocks and boulders falling down at the beach. My friends were at the beach, so it was the scariest thing they've ever been through in their life. But somehow the miracle is that no one did die, no one got hurt, nobody was standing in the wrong place. I mean, somehow. And and there's just been so many.
Is everybody out of danger, or that could that change any second, or is that really hard to say?
One of the most dangerous things that is happening is there's lava lakes forming. There's 2 lava lakes in my neighborhood. It's crazy. And so as the lava lakes form, these pools, because the lava starts drying and it creates the walls of a pool, right? Yeah. So then it gets higher and higher, the crazier, and then it cools. But the dangerous thing is, so anywhere along that wall of those pools could break, right? It could crack and break. Well, now you have a flash flood of lava, because a lot of this lava, it's sort of predictable, or it's sort of slow, and sometimes it's faster.
It's like a zombie coming after you.
You can get away from the lava, but a flash flood.
Yeah, that's no good. See, that's that's crazy, wild. Man. Because for us living here with the hurricanes, that's just. I can't even imagine, because I was there in Hawaii, everyone. So
but Chris, Chris, it's probably the same mentality. Like, we're sitting there trying to imagine how is it you can live on a volcano and know, but I guarantee you that they're looking at us every year going, how is it you live in a place where that storm comes through every year?
Yeah, all I know is that when I came back, I kept telling everyone, I'm like, man, this place is alive. Like, I just said, there's something different about it. You guys know I'm different. I feel very intuitive, and the whole thing, and just the energy, just going in there and watching the community, watching how everyone's so into the community, how they all come together on a Friday, and it's like, it's nothing like I've ever seen. Nothing like I've ever seen. Like, you go dance parties, right? It's not even like a dance party. It's like you walk into this building, and this is what she actually does. She, promotes and does, and puts together all these. She's like a great connector, brings all the people together. You walk into the spot, and it's like, hey, listen, we don't talk. We're dancing. There's a thing. It's almost like therapy.
It's like a very raw energy that people tap into.
And I tell you, man, like, I did not want to leave. Had I not had my kids, I guarantee y'all wouldn't have seen me. I guarantee I was ready to be like,
before he left, I said, I don't expect you to come back.
Yeah, a lot of people say that.
I go, if it's true what they say about Hawaii, I have a feeling you may never come back.
Magical.
And he goes, well, if it weren't for my kids, that might be a...
Yes, and magical. So, I mean, it's to hear this, and for me, like, just to really be there and be on these, driving down these roads, like, and just to see it. And now I'm looking at these roads. You can't, I mean, it's nuts for me. Like, I saw that, so I know what she's talking about. And man, to like be in that house, in that area now, like you're here, that's just, it's mind blowing.
Yeah, and so you guys know too, the frequency of volcanoes earthquakes have picked up in the last 24 hours.
Just 24 hours?
Yeah, I mean, because that's the thing. We've been having constant earthquakes, but when they get really high frequencies, like I'm talking about, where it's almost constant, another big thing's about to happen. And I just saw on my Facebook feed, one of my friends was saying close to 400 earthquakes in the last 24 hours. We're talking an earthquake every 4 minutes. That averages out too.
So, do you guys remember the World Series when the earthquake happened during? I think it was the Oakland A's were playing, and that was one earthquake, and we've been going on about one. Guys, 400.
And there's such thing as earthquake PTSD. I mean, after going through that many earthquakes, like every time someone would walk heavy, I'd be like, oh, you kind of go into like, you think it's an earthquake. You got constantly, you just get used to like the earth's moving all the time. I mean,
your family, you guys have had land there for 18 years now.
Yeah.
Now, does your family come from Hawaii, or did you all move out there 18 years ago?
Well, I was the catalyst. I moved out there, young hippie girl, just discovering new roots.
What cult did you join on your way out there?
Funny, I ended up at the Krishnas for a week. But then I realized I had to start my own commune. No, I was kidding.
I realized that I was the message once I got out there.
But land back then was dirt cheap because, hey, it's a volcano, right? And then so soon we forget and we just build and build and build. But, I mean, we got our first 8 acres for only $38,000. I mean, it was cheap, I mean, you're talking forest, gorgeous land.
Oh, I thought it was all rock and iguana.
And
Wait, so I want to say something real quickly. It was really cool about Hawaii. So you guys don't have any snakes that live there?
We don't.
Dude, that's why I was like,
we do got centipedes and fire ants and
but no snakes. And what's crazy, mongooses are running around everywhere.
Right.
That was weird. I was like, what was that? Like, it's like a rodent. Like, so what was the... Tell us the story about that, please.
About the mongoose?
Yeah, mongoose. Why there's so many.
Oh, well, didn't they bring them in to take out the rats? But then mongoose are day creatures and rats are night creatures. So that didn't really...
So now you got mongoose
that didn't really pan out. So now you got mongoose eating our chickens, basically.
So you have the mongoose eating all the snakes that were eating all the rats.
But there's no snakes.
There's no snakes, so they eat our chickens.
So it's just crazy. But
can I ask you my next ignorant question, or a question based in ignorance? Now that you guys got on the subject of the kind of the spirituality because you also said before all the lava started spewing that one of your friends who was intuitive says, hey, it's coming your way, get out. And you weren't like, hey, all right, save your crazy crystal worshiping stuff for somebody else. I'm going to stay here until whenever. You went, oh, okay, it's time to go.
And now, has she been dead on ever since all the predictions she's made?
Yeah. My friend Deb has definitely made quite a few predictions. And, I mean, sometimes they'd be like, you know what, I can't talk to you today because it's just too much. It's too much. And because she gave me yesterday as a date of like something big happening. And it's interesting because yesterday my dad finally evacuated because, it literally is that close that like, he could be trapped while he's sleeping. I mean, there's just, and he was die hard. I mean, he has not wanted to evacuate. He's not wanted to leave. So for him to leave is like, okay, it really is that dangerous. But yeah, I mean, she thinks a bigger...
Well, how the culture there in Hawaii is there this kind of old world connection with the earth kind of culture out there, or is that just in the movies? Or
there definitely is. I mean, there's Hawaiians, they're singing. I mean, they're singing to the elements, they're singing to the gods. I mean, they have their different ways of looking at things. I mean, there's and there's plenty of people who aren't connected at all, but there is a feeling of that most people are connected on some level. I mean, especially in this Puna area, because you have to be a certain kind of person to live right on top of the active volcano. Like
a special kind of crazy. crazy.
Yeah,
Dude,
exactly.
I get down with them, man. I was, everyone knows I'm like a closet hippie. Went to Eagles Nest Camp, which was a very hippie camp. And
what camp?
It was called Eagles Nest Camp in Brevard, North Carolina. So it was like Native American based, and like also like there's just a bunch of hippies, and I just felt
something
like,
your parents sent you to.
Oh man, it was great. We didn't want to stop coming. I went 6 weeks every summer. Like it was heaven on earth. And so when I got down there and I met her and her crew, it was like being in camp all over again. Like the barefoot thing, and everyone was just
yeah.
real.
We're talking about Sunday Fun Day.
Man,
so every Sunday, every Sunday. So we call it church because in the morning everyone goes to ecstatic dance. And I mean, we're talking hundreds of people.
So many people,
hundreds of people in a giant greenhouse, packed, sweating, no talking. I mean, that's a spiritual experience all on its own, right? Mm-hmm. Right on the ocean. And then we go right down the road to Kahena Beach, and everyone, there's clothing optional. I mean, people are smoking. I mean, it's just free. People do what they want down there. The ocean is amazing, super dangerous, and we've lost a lot of people there. I mean, it's all just, you have to go down a cliff to get in there, black sand beach. But when you get in that water, it is the most powerful, amazing magic. So for me, it's my power spot, like being there and dancing in the drum circle and feeling the elements and being connected. I mean, I think it's why I live there. I mean, it's definitely...
I wasn't trying to leave, y'all.
It's potent.
I wasn't trying to leave. I was like, yeah. I mean, oh man, there's nothing you can't. I'm telling you, can't.
And it's so beautiful the transformation that you see, because you see people that maybe I met them in California, or they got their, all their walls up, all their, guards up, and then a couple weeks out in the jungle, and you're like, wow, okay, people start letting go and start feeling the liveness and the rawness, and start dancing a little more crazy.
You stay grounded right here in St. Petersburg, Florida.
I mean, but it's like it was very special for me because just for me, of course, everyone knows my brother Ernest. He lived out there, and so that's why I was out there to visit the fam. And so just to see how just like she said, how connected everyone is there, and like the way they loved him and they took to him, and like she knew of him, like it's just. I don't know, and so there's that energy, and he had that, and I didn't understand why he moved out there until I got there, and it's like, so she and I together, we're gonna figure out how ways to help, and so we have links, right, to people they can, if they'd like to, which would be great if you guys would all help.
As one of the things, I pulled up a GoFundMe page that you had sent me that's right now a little over $5,000. The goal is $72,000, and it's to help rebuild a home.
Yeah, so this is someone who, I mean, their property is now under 20 feet of lava. And they've, been building their home. They had a home gym they had built. And also, do you have the Hawaii Lava Relief Funding? There's a page, a Facebook page, Hawaii Lava Relief Funding directory and confirmed lava info. It's a page that you join. They have a lot of the links to different people's stories, so that way you can look and read different people's stories and feel which one touches you.
There you go.
There are a lot of organizations raising money. It does feel like a lot of the organizations are receiving funding, but there's a lot of individuals that need support. I mean, that literally have barely a dime to their name,
I found Salvation Army when I Googled what you're talking about there, but not.
Well, there's also, what was it called?
Just give $1, man. We all got 4 quarters. It just
the World Central Kitchen. The World Central Kitchen is doing amazing things. Chefs for Hawaii, World Central Kitchen. They're in Costa Rica helping out. I mean, they're making gourmet food. I mean, they're getting food donations and taking the money, and volunteers are making the food. And I mean, they're bringing 500 meals a day to make sure. Yeah. And food's expensive, y'all, in Hawaii. I mean, it's no joke. Like, I mean, people. I mean. Hawaii really does need our help and our support. It's really, I mean, this was already a low income area, and I mean, and especially the people who are going to stay there, obviously, tourism has been hit hard. I mean, a lot, I mean, it's just,
we all need help, man.
It's dire times over there, help, for sure.
Yeah, we're all together.
And then we're dealing with so much between, ash clouds, if you're in the close proximity, there's lays, which creates when the lava goes into the ocean. There's a special kind of crazy amount of toxins. I mean, that could just kill you if you breathed it. Yeah. There's VOG, which is like the volcano pollution. There's acid rain, sulfur, hydrogen sulfide. Jeez. And then there's also right in the middle of this, right, that only spot that wasn't covered in lava, there is a geothermal plant.
What's that mean? Oh, so it's a plant that
geothermal venue
that takes advantage of the geothermodynamics of that region and turns that into energy.
And they're doing steam to turn the turbines. But the thing is, they also pour a lot of toxins into the earth. And I mean, it's a lot of people have been pretty upset with PGV because they've been basically lying to us, or at least not telling us the truth for a while, because they've had wells. I mean, they could have dealt with this weeks ago, right? They have these wells that go deep into the earth. And the thing is, there's been like other emergencies where they released crazy amounts of hydrogen sulfide that could have killed lots of people. And luckily the winds at that time, there was a hurricane, it took the wind, it took it, or almost a hurricane, took it away. So yeah, I mean, and they're sitting there going, oh yeah, it'll all be good. And we're like, we don't know that.
So are these the gods of Hawaii, the gods of the volcano, then swallowing up?
I mean, some people think so, yeah. But
Chris,
Pele,
I'm with it. You already know where I stand. Listen, we all look, man. It's easy to just dismiss things that you don't know. It's easy to think that we're not connected. That's the easy route. I think what's more difficult is trying to find the connection, trying to find yourself in that. And there might be something bigger, might be something greater.
I don't know, man. I think it might be the opposite. It's easier to make that connection. You can point at the big things in the world that you don't like, be it in government, environment, religion, corporations. And then when something goes south anywhere near it, you go, see, it's because the gods don't like it either. I think it's more of an easier connection to make that leap.
Oh, I was saying.
Now, I'm not saying there isn't anything to what you guys are saying,
Yeah, no, I was just saying it. I felt like, growing up, when I watched the news, which I haven't watched the news in years, when you see like, 17 people died in China, I'm like, I didn't really feel any connection. That's what I'm saying. So it's easy to just be like, whatever. That's what to dismiss this. And I'm saying, we are in this thing together. Here's someone what are the chances that they're here? Who else from the news? They're not interviewing anyone from actual Hawaii, and she's sitting right here telling us.
The news is definitely sensationalizing it, even though, there is already a lot going on, but they're going to give their extra spin. Mm-hmm. But one of the biggest lessons to this, it's creation is in the destruction. She's destroying people's homes. She's taking them out. And at the same time, we have new land being birthed. I mean, we have our islands getting bigger, and even some of the people who have lost everything and are in tears are still seeing the beauty. They still see like, wow. And at the same time, this is the most amazing show on the planet right now, you guys. Yeah. I mean, there's lava lakes forming. What we're up to like 24 fissures, I think. And it's wild.
See, what I took from it when you were talking about the tremors, it almost sounded like when someone's pregnant or about they're giving birth and the contractions. It's like it happening faster, and then boom. I mean, and we talk about Mother Earth and the Earth's alive, and this would just be one of those prime examples that, like, what if the Earth really is alive and there's something that it's doing, and it's doing something, and we're all in it together, watching this together. This phenomenon hasn't happened since like the 50s, you said? 1950s?
I know, but
the volcano's been happening forever.
Like big like this. When was the last time something like this has happened?
Oh yeah, like the last big flow. But I mean, but even 4 years ago, it almost took out our town.
The big one.
I mean, we don't need to spend too much time on direct cause and effect. I just think sometimes it's easy. Like I said, we don't like that this company over here is doing this.
Some people are predicting, that they were fracking. Maybe it caused earthquakes from them messing with the earth. I mean, we really don't know.
What's everybody saying? I'm curious what the comments are saying.
And Ormat is the company Ormat is who owns PGV. Just so people know they've done a lot of terrible things.
Stay away from Ormat.
Not a lot of. See, today's the first day of us not being on my personal page, and that's where we would get most of the comments. So when we get done with the show today, I want to go back and look at the analytics because I want to see what our if we got the cross posting that we set up to do this morning.
My phone died, so I couldn't check. Shocker. Chris's phone's died.
Right. Hold on. I got a couple of. Hold on a second here.
I really appreciate.
We have compression on the audio board.
This is
hot, but it clips.
Yeah. It's good to see you again.
What's that? What's going on?
I was just saying, we were
Chris?
saying thank you. She was saying thank you for letting her be on and giving a voice to the people from.
Oh, it's a pleasure to have you on. I'm sorry that you're going through the angst of not knowing what's getting ready to happen. So you were just talking about the way some of the people are looking at it. How do you look at it then? If you're getting ready to lose all the land that your family has been working hard on for the past nearly 2 decades, is how much pain goes with that, and how much appreciation of the beauty that goes along in this moment too, or will the beauty come afterwards after you?
Right. Yeah. I mean, honestly, a good friend advised recently that I should probably go ahead and say my prayers and release my land because I don't know what's going to happen, and I've just really come to a place where my family and the people there, like, that's my prayer, is for everyone to be okay, for the island not to start swallowing up people, I mean, yeah, like, we knew we built on lava, maybe our land's going to be gone, and it is heartbreaking, I mean, my son was born on my lands. I mean, it's, I have roots there. But the bigger picture, and it's also hard because it's like the feeling of losing our community. So, but we will rebuild, proper, build big land community projects. So I feel it all. I mean, it's heartbreaking. At the same time, there's all these new potentials and possibilities opening up.
You never been to Florida?
Hey. Yeah, first time to Florida. So it's kind of a wild ride. It really is. It's a very emotional. Yeah, and
you're staying positive through it though. That's very good. And
I honestly feel like, I mean, we've already been seeing, Houston, all the crazy flooding. I mean, there's been so much happening around the planet, and it ain't over, obviously. Yep. It's just beginning. So, I mean, my suggestion to people is, stay in tune with yourself, and because, you never know when the next big superstorm or whatever is coming your way, I mean,
I do appreciate that philosophy though, because, here, especially in America, I don't know if it's like that through Europe, in all of the West, but we get a lot of our identity can be attached to our homes. We work so hard, we sacrifice so much to get this stuff in this home,
success
and all that, and that when it starts to go away, it tears a part of our soul with us because we've attached ourselves so much to it. Where it seems like what you're describing, and I'm sure I'm making this a little bit more idealistic and perfect than it actually is.
I like it.
But in understanding, so in a moment where you are losing everything, you're losing your house, you're almost saying thank you in the same, thank you for this time,
exactly.
this moment, this 18 years I had in paradise, or this beautiful lot.
Well, I got to be in Puna during the heyday. I mean, it's the most amazing, the most magical heaven on earth communities, ideal living I've ever experienced. I mean, there's nothing like it. So I'm so thankful, like all those times where, you get bored and you want to take off or whatever. That, I mean, I'm glad I spent most of those years right there in Puna. And now, I mean, I guess the whole world's before me. But impermanence, that's been the one that so many people, impermanence has been the biggest lesson. Because that's what we've all realized is like, you think the ground's solid, but guess what? I mean, there's a crack in my neighborhood swallowing an entire house right now. Anything's possible. And that's, You know
what I take from this whole thing, metaphorically speaking? It's like, maybe you being in that island, I mean, look, so what she has not told you, obviously being there for 18 years, her being the connector and bringing all the people together, she's just, a lot of people are, I mean, I'm like, hey, what are you doing?
Wait, use your words. I don't know what you're saying.
Okay, so what I
she's
say
a lot of
she's attached to many people. Many people are trying to get their hands on you, and they're always tugging at you. It's kind of like me. I took my phone off and changed my number because it was just too much. Maybe that's kind of what's metaphorically speaking for you too. Maybe it's like a new cleanse, like your new life for you. In its own way. Maybe it's time for you to shake off a couple things too. I don't know if you thought about that. Maybe you, maybe not. I don't know. I'm kind of.
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely wide open at this point. I mean, it's like a whole new fissure opened up in my reality. Basically, the fissure opened up. I could go any direction now. Any direction.
And that's
anything's
what I meant.
possible.
That's what I was trying to say.
Whole new platforms. Like right now. I mean, it's kind of mind blowing. I mean, honestly, when it first was going down, I was like, wake up, Amber Ray, wake up out of this nightmare. Mm-hmm. Like, how did I mean, I literally felt like I'd slipped into another dimension. It was like,
right,
what?
Yeah,
like, I don't even want to be here, y'all.
Almost kind of like slipping from heaven into hell,
exactly.
in one night.
Yeah.
Oh, and that's the thing. It all happened so quick, you guys. I mean, it was like 1 second, there's some earthquakes, to like,
Boom.
Oh, it's on. And I mean, it has not slowed down. I mean, every day it's just another thing. And, because a lot of people, I mean, how surreal is this? I'm like I'm all sweaty from evacuating, trying to get like my most important things out of my house. I go a mile down the road, I run into friends. It's a beautiful day. It's been raining for 5 months, right? It's a beautiful day. Oh, we're going to the beach, la la la. I mean, totally like
you're like, wait, hold
surreal,
on. Right up the road,
right?
my life is in shambles.
Like, yeah, it's so surreal, and other people just, it's just another day.
All right, when you get done sweeping the lava off your porch, why don't you come have some margaritas with us?
Exactly.
My next question, based completely in ignorance, is we have an evacuee, a guest in today, who has evacuated the volcano Kilauea.
Yeah.
So how is this going to affect our pineapple crops this year? Like I said, questions based in pure ignorance.
Yeah, well, I don't know how.
And spam. How's the spam imports going to?
I'm sure spam will be just fine. As far as pineapple, I don't know how many pineapples were really coming out of Puna as far as commercial pineapples.
Okay.
Because they have to be grown a certain way so they don't get bugs, and because the pineapples we have in Puna are the white pineapples, and they're like the most delicious, non-acidic. I mean, but the thing is, you can't ship those all around the world. Like, you're never gonna taste a white pineapple unless you go to the tropics.
I had one. Ha ha! Lucky me.
But there's definitely, a lot of fruit trees and a lot of farms and that is just gone. It's just gone, My friend's property, gorgeous property. She had a lake in her backyard. I mean, it's 20 feet of lava right now. It's just, and it's hard too. I mean, she's devastated, she's, she was putting her heart and soul into that property, because that's the thing that bugs me. Yeah, maybe the volcano goddess, maybe Pele was mad at geothermal, who knows? But there's good people who have been taking care of Mama Earth, whose land's been taken. Like, it's not like
it's one side, right?
Yeah, it's
everybody.
I mean, you can't look at it like that. Otherwise, it's just not fair to the people that.
I think it's a good time for a little song, brother. What do you
Do
think?
it, man. You're over there picking.
Yeah, I mean, it's feeling like it, The song's called "Believe." This is for the people over here in Hawaii.
All right.
My homie, Miss Amber Ray. Everybody wants to live more, buy more, have something that you don't want to work for. Everybody likes watching TV. Is there someone else you'd rather be? And we eat, drink, smoke, choke, lie, steal, cheat, point. Don't want to read some, we just want to talk about nothing. Sometimes it feels like we hate too often. But I know that life is full of endless possibilities. Keep your eyes wide open so you can see half the world isn't what it appears to be. But you've got to believe in something. You've got to believe. This is important right here. The present is a gift. Yesterday is history, his story. You can save and save and save for tomorrow, but tomorrow is just a mystery. And we all do the same, never want to take the blame. It's all such a shame. Why can't we change something? Like take a little less and give a little more, hate a little less, love a little more, and let's see what happens. But I know that life is full of endless possibilities. Keep your eyes wide open so you can see half the world isn't what it appears to be. But you've got to. Your life is only what you want it to be. So come on, start working so the world can see. You have the courage to follow your dreams, because you know that life is full of endless possibilities. Keep your eyes wide open so you can see half the world isn't what it appears to be. But you've got to 'Cause I said that life is full of endless possibilities. Keep your eyes wide open so you can see. Half the world is half asleep, it's up to you and me. But you've got to believe in something. You've got to believe.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. McCarty.
Amen.
Tell me a little bit more about that song.
I don't.
The origins.
I just was just, I don't know. I just kind of straightforward. I thought, just like it's so easy to get caught up in not believing in something, and then you can just be aimlessly doing things with no regard to others and no thought of consequence, and every action is a reaction. And so for me, I actually believe that there's something better, and I believe in good. I believe in God. I believe in that, and I think and because I've always believed that I was supposed to be doing this, that's why I think these songs come to me, because I'm a pretty good dude, and I feel like that's what makes the world go round, when we remember how close we are to each other, and we know that people you don't know, they could really just be friends that you haven't met yet, or relatives you haven't met yet. And I've just seen so much. I've gone to so many places, and I just feel the love, it's alive, and so that's why I think that's why it came to me, just to give people a chance. Like, again, I don't care if you believe in God or don't believe in God, but if you believe in something, I believe in good, I believe in just being a good person, it can take you far. And and I don't know, we're all in this place together. We don't know when we're going to leave. We don't know what it's really about, but we understand that we're here, and we do know that we do make a difference. Whether it's positive or negative, you're still making a difference. And I just have come to believe that I believe in good, and everything in life is good. And if you see something bad, there's something good behind it. So that's it. Yeah.
Speaking, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, well, so often, it's other people who are answering our prayers, without even knowing. I mean, it might be a stranger, and you just get this feeling to help someone, and it was actually something they were asking for in their lives, and you just happen, to be that answer in that moment. And the more we all open up to that, and then it's like, oh, right, we really all can help each other. Yeah. And I just want to give a shout out, to all the people who have endangered their lives and gone down in Puna over and over again to help people evacuate their things and animals and people, and, and to be, and my brother Sean, just tirelessly, so many people just on the front lines, like, helping people out,
There's no better feeling, man. I tell you, everybody, no matter what, you can do things. You can grab some stuff and buy shoes and get likes on Facebook and feel good. But there's nothing that feels better than giving to someone and making a difference. Just nothing.
Yeah, and that's what we see in all these crazy tragedies. It's human. It's humankind. It's humanity coming back together and uniting. That is always the magic in it. It's like, oh right, it takes down the walls, and you're like, oh right, you're my brother, you're my sister. Like we all need to be fed. We got to help each other. We can do this. You know?
I mean, it's like it's crazy because as you said, it happened on the 3rd. When I saw, I don't know what it was that brought me to it, but it said Lilani Estates. I was like, oh my gosh, that's where I was staying. So I hit her up on Messenger, like, are you okay? I'm hitting up Jen, are you okay? And I think that is why she's here. Like, even in this bringing this magical moment, it's like I was just looking out for another fellow human being. Like, you were nice to me, you were kind to me when I was there, you took care of me when I was there. So it's like, hey, can I give back? And here we are. Now she's the first time ever going to Florida, first time seeing the Gulf in Florida. Like, it's healing in its own way. And then you're helping our show, and it's like, and then we just learn more. I think that's it, man. Just be there for each other, because you don't know when you're gonna die, man. You have no clue. So what if that's our job? All
right. Speaking of being there for somebody, how about being there for a baby who's dangling off of a ledge? Look at this.
Hey, I'm gonna use the bathroom and take her out so we can say thank you so much.
All right, thank you so much. It was really nice meeting you.
Thank you so much, Chris and Chris, for having me on the show today. It was so fun.
Our pleasure.
And just to be able to express and be real with what's really going on out there. I just want to send love to my Puna family, Puna Strong, and my family. Love you guys. Aloha.
All right, Chris will be back in a second, but we touched on this. Turn your screens or turn your attention to the screen there. See that? Look at that. Holy crap. So a young Malayan Malaya migrant who rescued a child dangling from a balcony will be made a French citizen, has been offered a job by the Paris Fire Brigade as well. The video of the rescue showed 22-year-old Mamadou Gassama climbing up 4 floors of the apartment building in just seconds to rescue the child. Holy! I'm gonna click on it just to see if it'll show it without having to go through too many advertisements. But so this guy scales 4 buildings. All right, so it is going to show it. Here we go. Look at that. Boom. He's already on the 2nd floor by the time. 3rd floor. All right, I wouldn't be able to do this. You know, you always put yourself in the position of the hero. If you know, could you do this in a situation like? All right, so there's the little kid. Somebody's already got a hold of him up there, it looks like. All right, holy smokes. That is incredible. So is that the guy there? I guess that's him there. How cool is that? So that's the guy, Chris, that scaled the building. 4. Right here? Yeah. Let me back it up real quick. You missed. I want to show you this.
That's cool, man.
So, all right, so he's already on the 2nd floor there.
Wow, look at him.
And look how fast he's getting up.
Yo, he is hauling.
Yep, grabs the next one, pulls himself up again.
What? Oh, my gosh.
Boom.
Got you, little kid.
Gets up to the top. Not even all the way. Yep, snags a little kid.
He's in shape. That's right, brother. You were made for that moment.
Yes, he was. How cool is that? Then, so they make him a French citizen after that. President Emmanuel Macron invited him to the Elysee, right, palace on a Monday, where he was given a certificate and gold medal for performing an act of courage and dedication. He said, I didn't think about it. I climbed up and God helped me.
There you go. That's my guy. Bring it back to him. That's so great, man.
He said that when he reached the apartment, he became scared and started shaking. No kidding.
Yeah.
Macron asked him how the child was when he was rescued. Replied he was crying because he was hurt. He said that he'd been in the neighborhood to watch a football match at a local restaurant when he saw the commotion. Quote, I like children. I would have hated to see him get hurt in front of me. I ran and I looked for solutions to save him, and thank God I scaled the front of the building to the balcony. That is insane.
Dude, that's just, man, I'm talking about helping. And so when we hear that story, it makes people smile and be like, yay, like, there you go, help.
Yeah.
You know, it's, how is that any different? Well, anyways.
So how'd the kid end up there? The video shows neighbors on an adjoining balcony struggling to pull the child to safety. According to the child's father was out shopping when the incident occurred. The father is being investigated for abandoning his parental responsibilities.
Yeah.
All right. The 4-year-old
child. So the kid was just by himself in that room?
I guess so. And next thing you know, he's dangling off a balcony. Holy crap.
Is crazy. That dude saved a bunch of people from living nightmares all night long.
Elliot said the best that he could do. He said, I couldn't climb that fast, but I'd let him drop the baby on my head. That's all I'd be able to do, too.
I love it. That man, Elliot.
I mean, think
when's
about
Elliot going to be on the show? He needs to come on the show, man.
I'd love for Elliot to be on the show.
He needs to come on. Wait, didn't he say he's like not, you know?
Right, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. All right. Well, then he's doing great.
Yeah. So there's Elliot right there.
Oh my God. I like Elliot.
All right, so that was a cool story that I want to get to today. So they granted him French citizenship, and you missed this part. The fire brigade offered him a job.
Right?
How cool is that?
A guy who could scale walls and save babies.
All right, so there
fill the position.
So there you go, immigrants, migrants in a new country. If you're looking to get that citizenship,
you can stage it. Actually, you can stage that. Hey, listen, man, I'm trying to stay here. Right. You got this kid, so I got this idea.
I'm gonna go down to the corner bar and have a few pints. I want you to wait 10 minutes, and then I want you to drop my son out the window.
Right, but he's my son. If something happens, it's on me. It's all good. I promise. That's messed up.
There you go.
We're just sick. You and I are sick.
This is just a piece of information to pass on for those of you that are living here in the Bay Area. But mosquito experts in the Tampa Bay area gear up for a busy summer of battling bugs. Also, I don't know if any. Last night,
son, I woke up. My legs were just torn up. Face. I have a problem with it's. I feel like I'm a nice guy. their horns come out of me when I see a mosquito. I lose my mind, and it's almost like I become a gangster. I'm like, I'm gonna kill you and your cousins and your family. They're all dead. Like, it's crazy. Like, you should just don't be. I don't have road rage. I got mosquito rage. It's real, man. I don't know. So I really.
All right, Chris, there was a video that just popped in my head. I don't know how we're going to do it yet. One of the things that Chris and I, because I told you guys that we were going to talk a little bit about the ins and outs of the show as well. And so one of the things Chris and I are tossing around, or not tossing around, we know that we need to include more video elements into the show. Not just video elements of things we can find on the internet that we're allowed to play, which is not easy, but also original stuff. And so, I was just picturing some parody, something of reenacting you versus the mosquito.
All my friends think it's really funny. They just like look at him go. Look.
All of a sudden, you hear the little buzz, and you start getting ready like Rambo.
Man, I bought this. It was like a tennis racket looking thing, right? And it's electric, so you put your hand and get the battery power, and you put your.
I've seen them. Yeah.
Man, Sap, 1-0. What, you want some of this? I mean, it's so crazy, man.
There we go, an app, okay? We get one of those things attached to an app so it keeps score, and as you're killing mosquitoes here in the state of Florida, your score goes up, and then the state of Florida rewards you somehow. You're able to get bank credit and become a good Florida citizen.
Man, I'm telling you, I just need to spray everything. I don't know, man.
Well, let me ask you something. Is there a do-it-yourself fogger? Because now that we're homeowners, right? Mm-hmm. I know we're going to have an issue in our back patio because it's inset into the ground, inlaid into the ground by like 8 inches or something, and there's plastic underneath that, so that's going to collect water.
Yes,
that's going to be a haven.
Yeah,
I can't have that.
I would just go and bite the bullet, get the mosquito people to spray and knock that stuff out.
So just go ahead and pay,
dude.
Start to get the monthly pest control, including.
I yell at my kids, close the door. Like, dude, the mosquitoes are so bad here, and then you're. Just pay, dude. Just let it go. Just pay.
No do it yourself.
No, forget it, dude. No. Don't do it. Because you pay for children.
Well, it's just that if I can figure out a way to save a lot of money and do it myself, I'm going to do it myself.
Get what you pay for. That's all I'm saying.
All right, we'll see.
That's all I'm saying.
All right, next up, New York cop faces possible discipline for posing with G-string clad strippers. So this is a guy on the job just trying to have some fun. They couldn't resist the frisky neighborhood cop stop. 4 female officers from the 33rd Precinct in Washington Heights, including at least 2 of them from its neighborhood policing program, faced possible discipline for posing with 2 nearly nude G-string clad male strippers. All right. And so in the photo, all 4 cops flash wild smile. They're having fun. They take some pictures of the couple of guys, that are in G-strings, and now this is supposed to make them look bad on the force, and even though it's completely innocent and whatever. 2 of the cops were identified, blah, blah, blah. The photo was taken May 13th at the annual Mother's Day celebration. What were they thinking? Chuckled one police source.
Hypocrite nation.
So here we go. Here's the picture.
Hypocrite nation.
So there we go.
Dude.
They're at an event. They're not at a strip club. They're not behind closed. This is
nation, dude. We're a hypocrite nation.
We are,
man. Finding things to be, and it's probably, and I'm going to jump on your bandwagon, but like there's chauvinism, chauvinistic people and men, and probably some men didn't like the fact that they're having a good time. Maybe, who knows? Maybe they like the girls and they didn't like the. It's just a weird.
It's also that old mentality too. I think that you still find in the police force too, that these women have a difficult time enough being women in this. So your superiors are going, you can't even broach this. You can't even joke about this kind of stuff yet,
dude. Like, look, at the end of the day, until you guys stop being hypocrites and just be killing people and tasing people, like, we're talking about a picture with some dude. Like, come on.
This is at a senior center, and the seniors were goading them like, oh, take the picture. Come on. It's a lot of fun. It's no big deal.
Come on. Like, we're just human beings, dude. Like, what a waste of. We'll never get that 5 minutes back.
Well, I hope that these women get their jobs back.
I'm curious to know what the discipline's going to be. That's going to be fun to see that. See that.
There shouldn't be, man. There's nothing illegal going on.
Dude.
They're in the middle of a Mother's Day event at a senior center.
Do you remember Rodney King?
I do remember him.
Dude, those dudes got off. And we talking about some girls in pictures. It feels like we need to have the Allen Iverson practice thing. But it's practice. We're talking about practice. practice, not anything that really happening on the force. Like they took some pictures, and now that's news. We're just, God, we're some sissies, dude. Weird.
All right, next up here. Okay, because we got to help the religious elite out there. And Jesse, do you guys know this name, Jesse Duplantis?
Nope.
I guess he's a famous televangelist. Well, he needs $54 million. So if we could help him out.
Oh.
Well, he needs $54 million because he needs a new jet. Chris, are you ready to have some fun? You're either going to have some fun,
let's have fun with this one.
Like it's either so absurd that you're going to be laughing, or your blood's going to start to boil just a little bit.
Why do you need the jet? Why you can't?
Are you ready?
Okay.
Are you ready, sir?
Why?
So this guy, I don't know what Destrian-based Prosperity Gospel, we all know what Prosperity Gospel evangelists are now, right? We've talked about this in the show. Chris, were you on the show when we talked about this?
No.
Okay. So these are the good Christians of the world who are also wealthy, who also somehow have included into their gospel that they're wealthy because they're good Christians. You know, that, again, that direct cause and effect.
Okay.
And so the more money that they get, the more wealth that they get, it just means the better Christians that they are. Okay.
See,
so let me go ahead if you want. Go ahead. You have plenty of jumping off points here.
I say
in the story.
Let me just say this. I have a problem when, this is personally, whatever, when someone has a problem, their own issue with, let's say, a preacher making a lot of money for what they do. Now, you're okay with paying some dude to dribble the ball millions of dollars, but you're not okay for a dude who's literally a good person who's trying to bring people back to light or helping, whatever. We have a problem giving them money. That's a little off for me.
Okay, it's not for me.
You know, I mean,
because if I go back to the scriptures of where I was born and what Jesus did, and to deny those things, and you don't need that. So if somebody tries to preach to me that they need these things, which is what he says,
I'm not saying this guy.
He needs this stuff to preach God's word.
I'm not saying
I'm going to call
guy.
bullshit.
And I said I have a problem when I said a person who's really doing well, doing right, a good person, not trying. I'm saying that we have a weird issue with someone who's doing good and capitalizing on they're doing good work, man. They really are.
And they need a $54 million jet to spread God's word.
Exactly, not this guy. Now this is where I go, dude, are you serious right now, bro? You need a jet?
Listen, I'm not saying that a man of God can't pay his bills, but once you get past that basic paying the bills and you're still trying to tell me you're a man of God, or especially the religion that I came from, Jesus, and you're collecting millions upon millions upon millions, and then trying to justify it later on down, a couple generations in, that you get these millions because you're a person. Well, then we're going to have to start breaking out the scripture you're allegedly quoting and go down that path again. But let's get to this guy, Jesse, not Jesus, Jesse Duplantis. He is a global televangelist, is asking disciples for money to buy a jet that costs $54 million, quote, so we can go anywhere in the world in one stop. He seeks the donation in a video posted last week on his ministry's website. Quote, I really believe that if the Lord Jesus Christ was physically on the earth today, he wouldn't be riding a donkey. He'd be in an airplane flying all over the world.
A donkey, dude, that's a donkey. No one's riding a donkey, you idiot. Like, what are you talking about, bro?
Also, that was part of what Jesus. That was part of Jesus's mythos, is that he wasn't entering it on the backs of soldiers and with all the rich and all the stuff that goes along with it. He was the exact opposite of that.
You know, I say this, man. There's something about a good way. Some things the way to have a nice, easy life. Try to live beneath your means. Like, if you think you need a $54 million jet because you just want to get there faster in one stop and that, like, I can't follow you. I'm not believing anything you have to say. Like, that's, like, what about we took this $54 million and helped the people who are suffering in Hawaii?
Right.
We're not even talking about that. I just want to be able to fly over there and tell them, believe in God and fly
Chris,
back.
the picture over your shoulder is a picture of this man pointing at the other jets that he owns. He needs to upgrade.
We already know, like I said, hypocrite nation. You know what's good about this though? The good thing is we get to see who we are in conjunction with this guy. You know, like you get to really see, like, if that's just, I don't know what people are saying too. Yeah.
This guy sent out this picture in this tweet. He goes, watch This Week with Jesse as Jesse shows the importance of using aviation as an amazing tool for evangelizing the world. He says his 40-year-old Jesse Duplantis Ministries has paid cash for 3 private jets, and it's just been burning them up for the Lord Jesus Christ. The most recent purchase in 2006, he says. Now he has his sights on a Dassault Falcon 7X, a 3-engine jet with a range of 6,000 nautical miles. Its customizable cabins accommodate 12 to 6 passengers. And it's about $54 million. In the video, he says that God told him, I want you to believe in me for a Falcon 7X. Pray about becoming a partner to it.
Yeah, and God tells people to kill people. I've heard that too.
All right, enough of this.
I'm tired of people using God as an excuse to do weird stuff. I mean, personally, just, you know, I mean, but it's all good, dude. Like, you know, at the end of the day, what you do in the dark comes out in the light. That's his own issue, his own path. And you know what? You better be right. Because you can't take that money with you. But if there's another stop after this, that dude's gonna, you can't run from that. And I would not like to be on that. But that's part of why I do try to be nice, because I don't know what's happening on the other end, dude.
Hey, Chris, you and I talked a little over the weekend about how we want to end the show each and every day, and you really okay. So I'm going to use a very crass metaphor. You really laid your blank on the block and said, "How about I end the show every single day with you? I start the show. You end the show." And you were like, man, because I feel like
I said you are the last word. I think it ends how it begins. Like, I'll say something positive, and then you just take us home.
All right, no pressure. We're not putting a bow on this bit yet. You know, the fanfare, dun 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 dun. I want you to take just 3 deep breaths while I set you up.
I already know. I'm sorry.
And then okay, and then
God told me. Sorry.
So Chris says one of the things that's very important to Chris as we move forward with the show, he and I will have personal things that we want to attach to the show, and one of the things that's personal to him has to do with being ending the show in a positive way, spiritually. And he's like, hey man, what do you think about me ending the show with just kind of a message? I'm like, let's do it. I love that idea. One of the things that I've always wanted to include in the show is something like that. I don't know if you've ever listened to Real Radio 104.1 out of Orlando or not.
Nope.
But they have their afternoon show there. It's been there for years. Jim Phillips on Sundays. It's Eddie the Shaman, believe it or not. And I know you have connections spiritually to shamans. And I don't think he's really a shaman. This is more of a joke. But he comes on Fridays, like that high energy to get everybody pumped to go into the weekend. So I've always wanted to figure out a way to kind of incorporate that in the show. And so there we go. I've got a real shaman, in here. All right, something positive to send us off on, Chris.
Well, I'll just say this. I'll call myself out. I was judging just then. I was judging a man who I don't know. I don't know what he's seen. I don't know what his parents were like. And at the end of the day, the judgment was negative. It's a negative judgment.
All right, who were you judging in that moment?
I was judging old Jesse. I was sitting here being like, oh, you're doing this and da-da-da-da, blah, blah, blah. But at the end of the day, I was still judging. And so I say this and calling myself out and trying to be better. Stay in my own lane. Stay in your own lane. It matters not what someone else is doing. That has nothing to do with your path. It's not a bad thing to see someone and figure out who you would like to be in that. And so now I know more about myself. So if I'm here hollering hypocrite nation, I better not get to a point where all of a sudden I'm asking for those things, because then I would just be no better than that person, the next person, the next person, the next person.
Chris, I kind of see things like that too. I'll find myself in we'll call it a phase or a rut or a trend where it seems like I'm noticing, let's say the hypocrites. Right. I'm noticing all the hypocritical stuff in the news, the hypocritical people, and then after it happens a couple, 3, 4 times, that's when I'll step back and go, wait a second.
Let me just make sure.
Yeah, maybe I have a feeling that some hypocrisy of mine is bouncing off the universe back at me, and that's why I'm picking up on stuff.
I don't necessarily know that. I think it's you know, there's a lot. There's forgiveness, you know, the hypocrisy aspect. There's just different aspects of life that it's a big circle. And it comes back around, and maybe this is the moment for this week. I have to look at it as, okay, be careful of being a hypocrite, whether it's with my children. Don't tell them, hey, don't put your shoes there and I'll leave my shoes on the ground. So I think maybe this is what we could walk into this week and just try to mind yourself. The moment's going to come, and just do your best to not be that. And
or maybe, like you were saying, this is less about hypocrisy in general and more about that moment judging somebody based on a couple of easy facts.
Yeah.
Those are easy ones, right, for us?
Exactly.
Those are
I don't know him.
It's easy to knock it out of the park when you see that man who's all high and mighty at the top of the world, who's sitting there asking for more money from his flock, and it all seems like a very stereotypical moment that we've seen before in the past. But Chris is right.
But I think, and that's the thing, I feel like on the judging aspect, I mean, I am judged every single day.
We all are.
Yeah, just, you know, and I understand that, like, you can either fall into the, you know, the stereotype that they give you, or you can challenge it and be something bigger. So I guess the thing is just be bigger, be better. And, you know, for me to sit there and judge, maybe if I could go back, I would say, you know what, I don't want to judge him. I don't know that guy. I don't know what he's dealing with. I don't know anything. It feels a certain way, and we all kind of see the where it could be off, but somewhere in him.
But if we don't call out those moments, if we don't have discussions in that moment, Chris, do we allow then for the powerful to take advantage of everybody? Because as they go, because that's what we see in that moment. We go, wait a second, this seems like somebody here taking advantage of the people here.
Right.
So we're just part of that conversation. Yeah, we don't need to get the torches and the pitchforks out, but that's what it looks like.
Yeah.
And I don't have a problem sending that out in the universe. We just don't need to condemn too much.
And I hear you. And I think what's even more powerful is the self, like you say, be the change. So self-policing. You know, that guy gave us an opportunity for us to be better. Than, you know, just from him doing what he does. And now we have a chance to share that same message to everyone listening, and hopefully that they can go, when they go out, they'll think the same things, and it could be a domino effect of positive, of that vibration.
All right.
You know, so, but I understand what you mean. I think it's good. I think, you know, it's the yin and the yang. We see it, but now let's just do a whole thought. Let's see it, we condemn it, and then let's bless it. Let's find that good out of that. So maybe that's part of the lesson too.
All right, and
God told me all that, brother.
All right, Johnny Torres, I see you just
JT
just logged on here, not getting audio on the Mixler. I just checked the Mixler. You're right. The select source was off again to no source, so that's been a 1 hour and 20 minutes of no audio on Mixler today. So we will not publish that. Let's just delete it. Sorry about that.
Sorry, Mixler.
And I'll make sure I stay on that and check that every single day, because I had reset that again a couple weeks ago, and I thought it was going to be good for a while. I guess not.
Oh, guess what, everyone? Chris is going to start doing, like, we're thinking about doing like some kind of health. You know, we're going to weigh ourselves of the week, and we're going to try to eat healthily, and we're going to track what we're doing. We're going to get into the gym. We're going to just day by day, just slowly figuring out how. And we encourage everyone to join us with that.
That'll, you know, when we were talking to Eric Stratman a couple of weeks ago from TNL Nutrition, I told you guys then, I'll go, listen, we're going to have him back on the show once I get my, so here we go. Thank you, Chris, because in order for that to happen, I have to nail down my therapist.
I thought I was your therapist.
Yeah. And so as soon as I get that nailed down, then my medicine should be coming soon. As soon as those two things are in line, then we're going to get Eric back in. We're going to start something, and I would imagine the first we're going to kick it off with some kind of a challenge or stunt. You know, whether it's the not eating every third day or some kind. What are those cleanses? You know, a cleanse, like a 28-day cleanse.
Right.
Kind of kick it into gear. Bring Chris in, my wife, like all the support I can get, and go. All right, we're going to.
We need it.
We're going to.
We all need it. We all need it, man.
Thank you for your intensity. Thank you for your passion, Chris McCarty.
Gotcha.
Christopher Andrew McCarty.
I'm a lot more calm today than it was Friday, huh? See?
It's all right. Well, we'll see you tomorrow. We'll see you tomorrow.
It's always a new day.
Yeah, because I was going back over some shows, and it's funny. It's funny because I don't want to use the term bipolar because I don't mean it like that.
I understand.
I don't mean it in a clinical kind of a way, but it's funny to watch a show where you're down here and you're going ba 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 da 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 da. Then I click on the next show. It's
It's true. I think everyone has that. We're all people. We have our passion. We have our things. We're calm. We have just certain things. I mean, listen. I went to bed very late last night. Just mosquitoes. My kid woke me. Johnny woke up at 5:45. Daddy, I wet my bed. Go fix it. But Daddy, why'd you wake me up? You know what you're gonna say hi. No, but
what do you? So what's the? How do you handle that? Because I was a bedwetter until I was like 10 or 11.
It's funny. I was saying the same thing. I was like 8 or 9 or something like that. How do you handle it? For a while, we were doing the night diapers, but he's 5, and I don't want him to think he's a baby. So now it's kind of like, you know what, you're just going to do the same thing that everybody else, you're just going to get over it. So now the move for me, being dad, is I got to tell him to use the bathroom the night before he goes to bed, that kind of thing, and let's kind of see if we can get that routine.
Have they figured out what that is? Because when I was a child, my father also went through the same thing. When I was a child, there was no answer. They had theories on it. Maybe you have a small bladder, this and that.
Maybe you're tired, man. I mean, I think a kid is just worn out, and so he just small bladder.
I'm looking back on my life, and I don't know if this is going to help, or I'll just tell you what I came up with. But I'm no expert on anything. Realizing that I have anxiety issues going way back, I was wondering if what had happened is back in those days as a child, that anxiety would kind of get you to clench up,
I wondered that today.
And so you're holding on. So even if you said, hey, go to the bathroom before you go to bed, he would try, or maybe even get a little bit, not get it all out because he's like this all day long. Then when you finally relax.
Yeah, I thought that. And what's interesting is my children and anyone who shares custody would, they come back different every time they leave their mom's house. You know what I mean? And so
it's got to be difficult.
It's very frustrating because we spent like the last month together. I had him for weekend after weekend. It was great, and there really wasn't a lot of bedwetting. He was doing all right, and so I'm not trying to.
Yeah, you can't.
You can't. I don't want to sit there and speculate, but I know my kid very well, and I just see what's going on, and so it's just it's frustrating.
Yeah,
so maybe you're right.
Sorry.
Maybe.
So what are you doing? Because you said take care of yourself. Because at some point.
No, that was me trying to be funny. I just said you got to change it, man. You got to change it. What's going on? So we get up and wash him down real quickly. Just and I put him down. I'm like, hey, lay back down. But now he's just up because he's in his head a lot, so he's just thinking, and that means I'm not. I means I'm up, And so we just come here, lay down with me, and he
don't pee on me.
That's happened before, of course, And then his sister wakes up. It is what it is, man. They're kids. They're excited for life. They have that still zest for life. They wake up and they're like, go back to bed, dude. This is let's party, let's ride, let's do this, So it's pretty cool. But I'm, maybe that's part of why I'm. Nice and calm.
All right. Well, I'm going to go get my tea shot.
Testosterone.
So tomorrow I'll be I'll be ready to go. Have a great day. Be safe. Thank you so much for the likes and shares. We're going to need them quite a bit over the coming weeks as well. Now that now that we've migrated everything over to the Wake.Show, I have a feeling it's going to take a little bit to kind of get those numbers back up now that we're not on the personal page anymore. And so any help you guys along the way, that'd be much appreciated.
And thanks for coming and helping. And as always, guys, we try and do something positive for everybody.
Be safe and be the change you want to see in the world. Have a great day.
Deuces.
Bye. Hold on. Which one do I?
Deuces.
No, that's not the one. Oh, we don't have one to end this. Oh, we'll do this.